The wind sweeps across the Heartland ranch, carrying whispers of change. Horses run restless in the distance, their hooves striking the ground like thunder. Amy stands by the fence, her eyes lost in the fading light of the evening. Something is coming, something that could test the very heart of the Fleming family. The peace they've built feels fragile, like a thin thread stretched between past and future. And as the sun sets over Hudson, that thread is about to snap. Asterisk, the new morning rises over Heartland, painting the fields in gold. It looks peaceful, almost too peaceful. Amy leads Spartan out of the barn, her hand brushing gently against his mane. She smiles faintly, but her eyes tell another story, quiet storm brewing beneath. Jack watches her from the porch, his coffee untouched, the weight of unspoken worry heavy in the air. The ranch feels different today. The air is colder, the silence deeper. Even the horses seem uneasy, their movements sharp, their breaths quick. Inside the house, Lou scrolls through her phone, her brow furrowed. A message flashes across the screen, and her expression changes fear, mixed with disbelief. She glances toward the window as if hoping what she just read isn't true. Across the road, Tim's truck pulls up, dust swirling behind him. He steps out with that same old confident stride, but his eyes search the horizon, alert and uncertain. Something about the day feels off, as if everyone can sense that change is already on its way. At the edge of the property, truck engine hums faintly in the distance. A shadow moves near the tree line. It's too far to see who it is, but the presence is undeniable. The horses grow restless again, pacing inside their paddocks. Amy turns toward the sound, her heart tightening. There's no one there, or at least no one she can see. But the feeling lingers, heavy and real, in moments like these. Heartland feels alive, as if the land itself breathes with the family that calls it home. Every tree, every fence post, every hoofbeat seems to carry memories of those who came before. Yet now, the same land seems to hold a warning. Something or someone is about to disturb the balance that has kept this family together. As the morning light spreads across the ranch, Amy saddles Spartan and rides out into the open field. The cold air stings her face, but she rides faster, as if chasing the unease away. Her hair whips in the wind, and for a moment she feels free again. But freedom is fleeting. She spots something unusual, a trail of fresh tire marks cutting through the back road that leads to the old barn. Her heart races. That road hasn't been used in months. She slows, Spartan eyes fixed on the dusty path. The tire tracks stop abruptly at the barn's door. She dismounts slowly, the crunch of gravel under her boots the only sound. The barn door creaks open, the sunlight slicing through the shadows inside. And then, silence. Absolute silence. Amy takes a step forward, her breath shallow. There's nothing inside, no person, no sound, just the faint smell of oil and hay. Yet something feels wrong. She turns around, her pulse pounding, and for a split second, she catches a glimpse of a figure standing near the far fence, watching. When she blinks, the figure is gone. The wind picks up again, rustling through the grass. The horses neigh in the distance, uneasy once more. Amy exhales slowly, forcing calm into her voice. "It's just my imagination," she whispers, though even she doesn't believe it. She mounts Spartan again and rides back toward the house, unaware that behind her the barn door slowly swings shut. Asterisk, the afternoon sun hangs low, turning the sky into a dull shade of copper. The warmth feels hollow, as if the light itself has lost its comfort. Amy sits by the corral, brushing Spartan's mane, her movements slow and distant. The quiet around her isn't peaceful anymore, it's waiting. Every creak of wood, every rustle of grass seems to whisper a warning she can't quite understand. Jack approaches, his boots crunching against the dirt. He doesn't speak at first. He just looks at her, then at the horses, his eyes thoughtful, cautious. Finally, he says, "You feel it too, don't you?" Amy nods, her hand trembling slightly. She doesn't have to say it. Something's wrong, and they both know it. Across the yard, Lou stands near the porch steps, her phone pressed tightly in her hand. The same message that unsettled her in the morning lingers on the screen. a name she hasn't heard in years. She wants to tell Amy, but she hesitates. The last time that name came up, it nearly tore the family apart. Lou tucks the phone into her pocket, pretending nothing's wrong. But her eyes keep drifting toward the old Rhoda, the one that leads to the forgotten barn. She tells herself it's just coincidence that people move on, that ghosts from the past can't just walk back into your life. But in Heartland, the past always finds its way home. Later that evening, Tim is in the stables, checking on the horses. They've been restless all day, their nerves reflecting something no one can see. He runs his hand along the stable door and stops. There's a mark scratched into the wood, a symbol he doesn't recognize. Faint, but deliberate. He frowns, tracing it with his thumb. The wood feels warm, as if recently carved. His instincts kick in, and he looks around, scanning the dimly lit barn. The shadows stretch longer than they should, dancing along the walls like they're alive. Tim steps back, uneasy, the air thick with tension. At the dinner table, the family gathers, though none of them truly eat. Jack tries to keep things light, mentioning old stories about the ranch, but every laugh feels forced. Amy's fork clinks against her plate. Lou avoids eye contact, and Tim can't stop glancing toward the window. The sound of the wind outside feels louder, heavier. It presses against the glass, almost like a presence trying to get in. When the lights flicker once, Amy freezes. The silence that follows is sharper than any noise. Jack gets up, muttering about checking the fuse. But before he can take a step, there's a distant thud, soft, deliberate, from the direction of the old barn. The table falls silent. Amy stands, her heartbeat pounding in her ears. No one speaks. They all just listen. Another thud. Then another, like slow, heavy footsteps. Lou whispers it's probably an animal, but her voice cracks halfway through. Tim reaches for his coat, grabs a flashlight, and heads for the door. Amy follows before anyone can stop her. The cold air outside greets them like a warning, biting at their skin. They walk toward the barn, their boots crunching in rhythm with the wind. The sound grows louder with every step, though nothing moves ahead. When they finally reach the door, the light from Tim's flashlight catches something, a reflection, quick and sharp, like metal glinting in the dark. Amy steps closer, her breath fogging the air. The door creaks open slowly. Inside, everything looks the same as it did that morning, except for one thing, a folded note pinned to the wooden post. Tim removes it carefully. The paper is old, stained, but the message is clear, written in hurried, jagged letters. It's not over. Amy feels the ground shift beneath her as the words sink in. The air grows colder, the shadows deeper. Someone, somewhere, is watching. The wind howls through the cracks of the barn, carrying a whisper that chills her to the bone. She doesn't understand the message yet, but deep down she knows whatever storm is coming, it's already here. Asterisk night settles over Heartland like a heavy blanket. The ranch, usually glowing with the soft light of the porch and the sound of laughter, now sits in uneasy silence. The stars above seem dimmer, hidden behind a thin veil of clouds that move too slowly to be natural. Amy stands by the window, the note still fresh in her mind. Its message keeps repeating itself in her head. It's not over. She whispers it under her breath, as if saying it might make it lose power. But it doesn't. Instead, the words feel heavier each time. Sinking deeper into her chest, Jack enters quietly, holding his old lantern. He's seen that look on Amy's face before, the same one Marion had when she sensed trouble long before it arrived. He sets the lantern down and says, "You know, sometimes the land tries to tell us something. You just have to listen." Amy nods, but doesn't look away from the window. The sound of the wind has changed again. It's no longer just wind. There's a rhythm to it, almost like footsteps pacing in the distance. Down the hall, Lou sits at the kitchen table with the note spread out in front of her. She keeps staring at the handwriting, tracing the letters with her finger. There's something familiar about it, a tilt in the way the letters lean, the uneven edges, the rushed endings. Then it hits her. She remembers old letters she once found in her mother's belongings. Written by a family friend they all thought had left town years ago, someone who vanished without a trace. Her pulse quickens. Could it really be him? She doesn't want to believe it, but the thought refuses to leave. Outside, the horses stir again. Their anxious movements echo across the ranch. Tim steps out of the house, flashlight in hand, determined to end whatever strange game is being played. He walks toward the stables, muttering to himself, but the deeper he goes, the more he feels it, that eerie sense of being watched. He shines the light around, and for a split second he catches something, a shadow moving past the far fence line. He calls out, but there's no answer. Only the rustle of the trees and the faint whinny of a frightened horse. He approaches the fence, his boots pressing into the wet earth, and finds a small object half buried in the mud. A silver locket. He picks it up, wipes away the dirt, and his eyes widen. Inside is a faded photograph. Amy as a child sitting on her mother's lap. The same photo that used to hang in the house until it disappeared years ago. His hand tightens around it. Whoever left that note didn't just want to scare them, they wanted them to remember, back inside. Amy senses something before she hears it. The faint creak of the front porch. She looks up sharply, her breath catching. A shadow passes by the window, slow and deliberate. Jack grabs his rifle from behind the door, his expression turning from calm to steel. The porch light flickers once, then goes out. For a moment, everything is pitch black. Then, a soft knock. 3 times. Slow, heavy, echoing through the quiet house. Amy freezes, her eyes wide. Lou grips the edge of the table, her voice barely a whisper. "Don't open it." But Jack steps forward anyway, his hand firm on the door handle. The knocking stops. The silence that follows is so deep it hums in their ears. Jack opens the door just an inch, enough for the lantern's glow to spill outside. No one is there, only the empty yard stretching into darkness. But then he looks down. On the porch floor lies another folded note, weighed down by a small rock. He bends to pick it up, and as he does, Amy catches sight of something else. Footprints leading away from the porch, vanishing into the mist. The new note is shorter, colder, written in the same jagged style. "You can't hide from what's already part of you." The words hit Amy harder than she expects. Her stomach twists. There's only one person who ever said something like that, someone she once trusted. Someone who left with more than just memories. She turns toward the dark fields beyond the barn, the wind pressing against her face like a whisper of the past. Deep down, she knows this isn't just a threat. It's a message from someone who knows their hearts too well. Dawn crawls over Heartland like a ghost rising from the dark. The mist clings to the ground, swallowing the fences and trees until the ranch looks like it's floating in another world. The first rays of sunlight should bring warmth, but instead they reveal how empty the yard feels. Too still, too quiet. The horses stand in their stalls with wide eyes, their breaths heavy clouds in the cold air. The silence is no longer peaceful. It's a warning wrapped in calm. Amy steps outside, the locket in her pocket pressing against her palm. She didn't sleep. Every sound through the night felt like a whisper trying to tell her something she wasn't ready to hear. Now, with the light creeping over the land, she feels a strange certainty. Whatever started this isn't finished. The note's words echo in her head like a heartbeat. "You can't hide from what's already part of you." Jack joins her. His expression carved with years of knowing when trouble is close. He doesn't ask questions. He just looks at her, then at the barn where the wind pushes the doors open and shut with slow, uneasy rhythm. Lou comes out next, holding a cup of coffee she doesn't drink. Her hands tremble slightly, and her eyes are red. Tim follows soon after, his jaw tight, his coat half-zipped, the flashlight still in his grip, though the sun is rising. None of them say a word, they all know something has to be done. Amy takes a deep breath and walks toward the barn. Each step feels heavier than the last. Inside, the light cuts through the gaps in the wood, falling on the tools, the hay, and the note pinned to the post. She pulls it down, studies it one last time, and whispers, "Who are you?" The air shifts suddenly, a cold gust sweeping through the barn, lifting dust into the light. And then, from behind her, a voice she hasn't heard in years answers, "You already know." She turns sharply, heart racing. The silhouette in the doorway freezes her in place, familiar yet distant. A man steps forward, his face half hidden by the shadow, his eyes tired but sharp. "You didn't think I'd stay gone forever, did you?" he says. Amy's breath catches. Memories flooding back, old arguments, promises never kept, words that hurt more than silence. "You left," she says quietly. "You had no reason to come back." He looks around the barn, then at her, his voice calm but heavy with meaning. "Everyone leaves, Amy, but not everyone forgets." Jack enters behind her, his voice steady but low. "You've got no place here anymore." The man's gaze shifts toward him, and for a moment, the air feels charged. The kind of tension that could break with one wrong word. Lou steps closer, her voice shaking as she asks, "Why now?" He doesn't answer right away. Instead, he drops something on the ground, another folded note. "Because the truth never stays buried," he finally says. Then turns and walks out into the fog before anyone can stop him. Amy bends down to pick up the note, her fingers trembling. When she unfolds it, the paper inside isn't blank this time. It's a photograph, a family picture taken years ago at Heartland. All of them smiling, unaware of what was coming. But there's something strange. Someone has drawn an X over one face, her mother's. The silence that follows is suffocating. Jack lowers his head, his grip on the lantern tightening. Lou covers her mouth, unable to speak. Amy stares at the photo until the edges blur from her tears. She finally whispers, "This isn't over. It's just beginning." Asterisk, the screen opens to the quiet after dawn. The ranch looks peaceful again, but it's a kind of peace that doesn't last. The light is softer now, almost golden, yet it hides the bruises left behind by the night. The horses are calm, the sky clear. But inside the house, the air is heavy with questions no one wants to ask. The photograph with the red X still sits on the table, its edges curling under the weight of morning heat. No one has touched it since Amy placed it there. It's more than a picture, now it's a wound reopened. Amy walks through the pasture, her boots brushing the wet grass. Every step feels slower, more deliberate. The land she's loved all her life suddenly feels unfamiliar, like it's keeping secrets she's not supposed to know. The notes, words, and the stranger's voice loop endlessly in her mind. The truth never stays buried. She tries to make sense of it, but every memory she pulls up feels incomplete. As if someone has taken pieces of the past and hidden them away. She stops near the old oak tree, the one her mother used to sit under, and places her hand against its trunk. The bark feels warm, alive, as though the tree remembers to dot. Jack finds her there, the sun catching the lines on his face. He doesn't speak for a long time. He just stands beside her, letting the silence fill the space between them. Finally, he says, "Sometimes the truth hurts more than the lie. But it's still the truth." Amy doesn't look at him. Her eyes are fixed on the horizon where the fields fade into light. "It wasn't supposed to come back like this," she says softly. "Not now. Not when we've just started to heal." Jack nods, his voice rough when he answers. "Healing doesn't mean forgetting, kiddo. It means facing what still haunts you." Back at the house, Lou sits at the kitchen counter scrolling through old photos stored on her laptop. She finds another version of the same picture of the family together, smiling. But this one has a date written on the back. The day before their mother's accident. Her throat tightens. Could this be what the stranger meant? Did he know something about that day they didn't? She leans back, overwhelmed, her fingers trembling as she whispers, "Mom, what didn't you tell us?" Outside, the wind begins to rise again, but this time it carries the smell of rain. The clouds move fast, swallowing the sun, and a deep rumble of thunder rolls across the valley. Amy looks up, her face caught between fear and understanding. "It's starting again," she murmurs. The storm that's been waiting is finally here, not the one in the sky, but the one inside them all. The first drops of rain fall as Amy walks back toward the barn. She opens the door and steps inside, her eyes scanning the familiar space. Everything looks normal, but she feels it's the change, the shift in the air. The camera follows her slow movement, lingering on her hand as it grazes the same wooden post where the first note was pinned. She notices something new carved into it, small and faint but unmistakable. The initials MF, her mother's initials. Amy's breath catches. Her heart beats faster. She takes a step back, the sound of rain growing louder on the roof. For the first time, it isn't fear she feels, it's clarity. The message wasn't from an enemy. It was a warning, or maybe a truth her mother wanted them to find. The door creaks open behind her and light floods in, soft and golden. She turns toward it, the storm clouds breaking above. Lou, Jack, and Tim stand there, rain on their shoulders, faces filled with quiet determination. Amy looks at them and finally says, "Whatever this is, we face it together. No more secrets." Jack nods. Lou exhales, and Tim places a hand on her shoulder. For a moment, they're silent again, but this silence feels different, stronger, steadier. Asterisk, the storm passes, leaving behind a sky washed clean. The first light of morning breaks through the thinning clouds, spilling over the Heartland Ranch like a quiet promise. The rain has softened everything, the dirt, the fences, even the echoes of fear that clung to the night. The air smells of wet grass and fresh beginnings. It's the kind of morning that feels sacred, where silence doesn't hide danger any more, it holds peace. The light is brighter now, pouring over the hills like a blessing. The storm has passed, the shadows have lifted, and the ranch breathes again. The fences stand tall, the fields shimmer with dew, and the horses graze calmly as if the land itself has forgiven what was broken. Heartland feels different, yet more itself than ever before. Stronger, older, wiser, Ami stands by the paddock. The sunlight's soft on her face. Her expression isn't sad anymore. It's peaceful, full of quiet strength. Every line of worry has been replaced by understanding. She's not looking for answers now. She's learned to live with the questions. Behind her, the ranch hums with life. Lou's laughter floats through the open window. Tim's voice carries from the barn, and Jack's familiar whistle echoes through the morning air. For the first time in a long while, the sound feels like home. The camera drifts closer to Amy. She kneels and presses her hand against the earth, the same soil her family has worked, fought for, and healed on. Her voice rises softly, not to anyone in particular, but to everything that remains. "This land has seen it all," she says. "The heartbreak, the storms, the silence, and the love that never left. Maybe that's what keeps it alive. We never stop believing, even when everything falls apart." Jack steps into frame beside her, his shadow stretching long across the ground. He doesn't say much, just places a hand on her shoulder. A small gesture that says everything words can't. The wind stirs again, carrying the scent of rain and grass. The sound of hooves in the distance. The rhythm of Heartland. Lou joins them, holding the photograph now clean, framed, and whole again. She places it on the fence post, letting the sunlight catch the glass. The red X still crosses their mother's face, but this time it doesn't feel cruel. It feels like closure. Lou smiles faintly. "She's still here," she says quietly. Amy nods. She always was. The camera pulls back, rising slowly to reveal the full sweep of the land, the barns, the fields, the long dirt road winding into the horizon. The clouds drift apart and the golden light floods the scene until everything glows. A soft piano melody begins, slow and full of memory as the music swells. Amy's voice returns, steady, filled with emotion, but never breaking. Every season brings change. Some storms shake us, some heal us, and some remind us who we are. Heartland isn't just a place. It's every moment we've chosen to stay, every promise we've kept, and every heart we've mended along the way. The shot fades to the open fields one last time. The camera follows a single horse running freely across the pasture, the morning light glinting off its mane. It gallops toward the horizon until it disappears into the glow. The screen turns black. Then, in quiet, graceful text, Heartland Season 19, Episode 5, the storm ends. But the heart remembers. The sound of distant thunder fades into birdsong. And finally, the last image, the Heartland logo appearing over the sunrise, still, steady, eternal.